Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, where everything is getting really rather real now, isn't it? We are at a point where I feel like we can't really slip up, and Gant is going to make it incredibly difficult for us. Here we go. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Well, we know that's not true, don't we?
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honour?
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol.
You do understand that I'm the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences.
Oof.
Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again.
Alright, yeah, we definitely need to nail this guy. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
Alright, Aji, in return though...
I know. That place, right?
Huh? What are these guys telepathic? Evidence and forgery. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Gant isn't the one who murdered Prosecutor Marshall 2 years ago. Yet I know he played a part in the forgery. That can only mean someone asked him to be an accomplice. Damon Gant, someone's accomplice? That sounds unlikely. Okay, so let's go through these. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped. We shouldn't be saying things like that.
Mr. Wright, what are you saying?
Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, did you? Can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe, such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime isn't forgery... I'm not through speaking yet, righto! It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialised the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The Chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, righto! Think about it! There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent! ... Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. ...
Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. ... Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that's a good one! Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief of anyway. Ugh. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Aha. Don't be silly, Worthy, you know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. ... There, it's out in the open now. Aji, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho, ho! Ho! Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? No, or point out an accomplice? Well, we can point out an accomplice because we're pretty sure at this point that he did it to help Lana, right? True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. ...
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I meant.
Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Okay, it's going to be Lana, because Lana, I guess, he helped Lana to help Emma get away with the marshal thing, so...
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant? ...
I believe it's quite obvious in the light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. ...
But how would he profit from all of this?
He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations.
Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets?
Oh my god! This guy is so stupid.
Just silence. Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Jesus. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? I mean, not really. Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma, exactly. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. No, there's not.
I'm afraid without any proof this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. ...
Unless that is also what happened in this incident.
This incident? Which one would that be?
Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. It's a good point. It's a very good point, Edgeworth. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honour, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible.
Is the judge a robot that's just like malfunctioning or something? Your Honour, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. Which I'm sure you would appreciate, right, Judge? It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? ...
Good question. So we need evidence to tie him to Goodman's murder. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell.
I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good.
Alright, so this is a health check one.
Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman.
Okay, so something from the original part of this case, right back at the beginning of the episode, that ties Gant. Fine, we've got Goodman's autopsy report. Let's have a look at that. Stab wound. Don't think that's going to help us out. Goodman's note, I don't think will help us out. It was just the SL9 message. I mean, could sort of potentially tie in, I guess. Crime photo, victim's shoe. I mean, there's that, which was from the SL9 incident. Luminol testing fluid. Ah, the ID card record. 7s. It's going to be 7s. Let's present that. It's going to be the 7s.
This is the ID card list.
Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7s. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number.
What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code.
7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honour. The code was 7s. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. He's getting mad! Look at his face, yes! The satisfaction you get when you catch these guys is so good in this game. We've not seen him like this.
Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
It's mad. Nothing! The defence's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. He's mad.
Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
What about it? I am Chief of Police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not! Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days! You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt.
No, it isn't, Your Honour. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting?
In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime.
Okay, fine. Let's try and find something that proves that that was the case. Fine. Let's have a look through. Murder weapon, don't think it's going to be that. So it's going to be something from the early part of this case. Possibly Goodman's note. Could be that. What else have we got? We've got Lana's cell phone. We've got a crime photo. Victim's shoe. Switchblade knife, maybe. Luminol testing fluid, no. ID card record. Screwdriver. Evidence from a past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. I don't think it's going to be like that. Goodman's lost item report. A half-written document dated that can only be submitted to the chief of police. Ah. Potentially this. Date lost was the day of the murder. Bruce Goodman, ID item lost. But it can only be submitted to the chief of police. So this, I guess? Because he would have to hand that on the day of 2/21. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Boom. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. ... Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Oh my god. What was that? Chief Gant, you didn't... ... Okay, his eyebrow twitching, and that is where we're going to leave it. I'm sorry guys, we're out of time. We're going to have to carry on in the next one, which incidentally will be episode number 100, which is crazy. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Gant is unraveling, and it is fantastic. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons, Arcades Games, Wayne Nate, Paul and the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Hobo, Numinous, Kubadim, Paul Leone, Flossie the Sheep, JohnCom555, Chrissy, Paul James, Salties, Adventure Game Geek, and Megan. And I'll see you next time for what might, I guess, be the finale. Who knows?